My name is Carolyn, and I talk to the spirit world. Travel with me to a dimension filled with love, light, and joyful surprises. Welcome to Carolyn's Psychic Playroom.
Hello everyone, Carolyn Wilkins here, welcoming you to another episode of Carolyn's Psychic Playroom. I'm so thrilled to be beginning 2022 with you. I'm sitting here at my piano as I always do, and this episode is going to share an amazing interview I did with a fellow pianist named Harry Pickens, who is extraordinarily gifted. And we had a wonderful conversation about the use of the trance state in music and the whole concept of channeling music and using music for the purpose of healing and upliftment. So it's a wonderful conversation, and I look forward to sharing it with you in just a few minutes. But before I do so, I want to talk a little bit about a couple of developments. We're going to have a new format for Carolyn's Psychic Playroom. Instead of coming to you monthly, we're going to be coming quarterly. So every 3 months, this will be the offering for January, from January through April. And then in April, there'll be another episode. And then in July, another episode. October, another episode. So fewer episodes, but if you're missing me, you can find and check out the many previous episodes that I have already recorded by visiting my YouTube channel. So, Carolyn Wilkins on YouTube, you'll get everything you need. And if you have already seen all of those and you're looking for new material, I'll be posting these as soon as they're done, once every quarter. So, welcome to the winter edition of Carolyn's Psychic Playroom. So, as you know, I always like to start the show off with a little bit of psychic reading. And I have these wonderful, wonderful tarot cards. These are created by a man named Kyle Gray. And each card represents a particular energy that we activate through looking at the cards. And as you will see, the visuals on these cards are spectacular. Plus, if you look at them and meditate on them, allows you to connect with all kinds of cool energy. So, given that this is going to be the episode for winter 2022, I'm going to ask, what energy would we, the Carolyn Psychic Playroom team, need to really focus on for the winter of 2022? What energy will most help us move forward with our life and do those things that we are meant to do for the next 3 months? So I've been shuffling the cards. Let's see which card comes. What energy do we most need to activate and connect with for the winter of 2022, the winter quarter? And this one, this is a beautiful card. Can you see that? The ancestral realm. So this is interesting. I've actually recently been doing a very beautiful ritual called ancestor elevation that I have been doing with my own ancestors. And this card is letting us know that this particular period, particularly in the winter, it's cold, it's a little more toward the dark. This is the time to go within and to connect with our own ancestors. Our ancestors, each one of us has a horde of people around us in the spirit world who are there to advise us, to help us, to lead us, to inspire us. And the winter will be an excellent time to connect with your ancestors. So if you don't already have any particular rituals or things for connecting with them, I recommend you could put out a glass of water, clean water, a candle, perhaps put a few pictures of your departed loved ones on a little table and just talk to them. When you're eating a special meal, a holiday meal or something like that, you could fix them a little plate and put it on the altar. But most important thing, just allow yourself to be open to the idea that they are all around you, even if you can't see them with your physical eyes. If you just kind of relax and focus on the presence of your ancestors, I guarantee that you will begin to feel, hear, or sense their energy, because they're all around us just waiting to come forward. And so just take one more look at this card. You will see it's invoking that ancestral wisdom. So to just kind of build that in a little further, I'm going to offer some channeled music. This is my Akashic piano trance. It's not regular music, it's music that will vibrate at the level of the ancestors, music that I channel. So just sit back, listen, and allow this music to touch you in whatever way it does. So a little channeled music from the ancestors to start us off. For this winter quarter, think about your ancestors, connecting with them, and they'll come in your dreams. You will feel them around you, and this is an excellent time to connect. So, moving on to the next segment of the program, I'm going to bring up this interview that I did a few weeks ago with the amazing Harry Pickens. So Harry is an extremely accomplished teacher, performer. He's a sound healer. He has his own very active practice. If you look for him on Facebook, Harry Pickens, you will find him and you can find out a lot more about him. He's a remarkable, remarkable man with much to offer. And we share an interest in healing and in channeled music. And so in this conversation, I just basically pitched him questions and allowed him to speak. And he also demonstrates a little bit about his own music and so forth. So I'm about to just let this interview roll, and I know that you're going to enjoy it. The amazing Harry Pickens.
There's the traditional way that we think of music in terms of organized chords and scales and harmony and tension and release and all that. And that's very valid. And so much of our music is based on that. But there's another way of thinking about music purely as energy and frequency. So if you're like in a rainforest and you're just listening to some of the sounds might seem musical because they're rhythmic and everything, but the sounds are not organized in the way that we think of music as organized. But when I started listening to Cecil Taylor again, that's what I became aware of. It was almost like, and that first album is called Unit Structures. It's almost like I could feel these waves of energy.
Yes.
Were pulsing. I mean, many of the avant-garde, people as well. I mean, even Coltrane in his last years, it's almost like they were playing streams of energy.
That's right.
That happened to contain certain notes.
Yes.
But the notes were completely secondary.
Yes, I believe that. The notes are just like the vehicle for the energy, but they're not like tunes or have a structure as we customarily think of it.
And if you are a musician, you listen not for what are the notes, the chords, or patterns.
That's right.
But listen underneath that.
That's it.
It's almost like the words don't exist really to articulate this. But if you can imagine when you hear the music, that the air thickens.
Yes, and it does. Don't you feel that? I feel that. You feel the air thicken and the vibration change in the room based on what you're playing. And the music, in fact, is a portal. And we are not even in control, I don't believe, us, the human us, Harry and Carolyn, in control of where, once we open this portal, we become a vehicle for a greater purpose, and that is, at least for me, the ancestors coming through and playing what needs to be played in that exact moment. It's never the same. Some of the vocabulary may be the same because, I'm a human being and I only have so much technique and so much capacity, but the energy will never, it's always different for every person, and it has nothing to do, I don't want to say it has nothing to do with the notes, because sometimes I feel them resolving things or bringing things to a close or stuff, but it's not notes in the way that we have come to think of it. Right.
Well, I experience this sometimes. We're talking about this very specific kind of intuitive music making. Sometimes I experience tonality, and in a certain kind of like I was. So there is that. I mean, when I'm doing this kind of intuitive free flow, there are times when there is absolutely a sense of tonality, and sometimes I'll stay there for a while, and sometimes that the music sounds like folk music traditions or ancient music traditions, and other times it's completely what would sound to the analytical mind as chaotic.
I feel this is just a new way for us as musicians to bring healing. And I have found that it actually, playing the piano trance, as I call it, music has actually also freed up and weirdly improved my ability to play regular
Oh yeah.
jazz tunes as well, because there's a sense of freedom, and I'm far less concerned about the notes and much more concerned about the energy, because
Yeah.
maybe music is meant to be, not maybe, it is meant to be a vehicle for energy
Right.
rather than an exercise in right and wrong notes or particular chords.
Well, what I do is I actually will like internally sub vocalize light language and then
Mm.
play from that. So like this, for example. So I'm
Nice.
hearing the light language in my mind, but it's also coming out.
And it sounds to me also conversational almost then when you
Yeah,
do
it's
it
very
that way.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's all of these different, from my experience, like there's all of these different ways in that
Mm-hmm.
I've explored to get to this place. So there's like, or I can reflect on like this color, this beautiful pink violet, and then this comes. Or I will think about a like looking outside and looking at the blue sky and the clouds that are flowing through, and that's like this. So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. No, it's really.
translating the energy of whatever that is into,
Mm-hmm.
none of which involves any of the kind of cognitive process or the thinking to play.
Exactly.
There's it's like a completely different room in the brain, you know.
That's right. It's like opening a different door. And when I first started doing it, actually, my guides put me on a program, and for a year, I had to play without looking. And for at least maybe 3 or 4 months, I did not play any quote unquote regular music. I just closed my eyes and did this because I had been so long like looking and playing, which then involves the brain. Oh, you're looking for the right note. You're looking, or you're looking at music, and this was a whole other thing and a very received thing. It brings me to mind also, I remember reading about Eric Dolphy, the great
Yes.
alto saxophonist. He used to go outside, if I'm not wrong, and just play like things in nature. He would take his flute and he would go and like birds or water or some
Yes.
other sound in nature and just make
Wow.
that on his instrument. And that's very much like what you were just doing, you know?
I love that. I mean, I love Eric Dolphy's music. And I had a friend who was one of the most amazing, not disciples of Dolphy, but influenced by Dolphy, who died very early, Tom Chapin. I don't know
Oh,
if you've ever heard of
sure.
Tom
Yep.
Chapin. You know, we were at Rutgers at the same time back in like the
Oh,
late
okay.
70s, early 80s.
Okay.
And Tom would he would take his flute and play, you know, just play in that kind of communion with nature way. And it's funny thinking about it now. I wonder if he was influenced by Eric Dolphy in that way, because he was very much influenced by him musically.
Yes, well, it
Um,
could very well be, but I just feel there's so much room for us to grow as artists with this, using this connection. And as I keep referring back to the ancestors and those who passed on, the musicians, they are coming forward to speak through us, and to help us to birth a new kind of energy on the planet, because there's no question that the old stuff is clearly breaking up, it's not working, and we need to have a new level, new vibratory level, I feel, to really step into power with what's happening. And I do feel that the energy, as I keep saying, the energy on the planet right now is very lively, and it's very conducive to opening to new things and approaching things from a new way. And I also feel maybe this is just me as an older person, deep into middle age, that it's time to kind of bring together all the different things that I've learned, and all the different, I've spent pretty much my whole life from the age of about 3 playing the piano. So now it's time to really bring forward what is uniquely mine to offer
of
on the
course, yeah.
piano. I will never be, much as I wish I could, I probably won't be recording a cycle of the Goldberg variations, right? I will, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not even going there past the first little melody, nor will I ever be out playing Art Tatum or any host of any other number of great ones in that way. But I do feel that this piano trance healing has a unique to the person. Like what you're doing is so different, even though people might say, oh, it's the same thing, it's channeled piano, but what you are playing is utterly different than anything that I would ever play, It's
Right, and
quite
vice versa.
interesting.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah,
know, it's interesting. I think you're absolutely right. I think this is also a time for those of us who have had what I call patchwork lives with lots of different arenas, bring those into a beautiful quilt, and they're woven into a singular
that's it.
experience. That, you know, I did a concert a couple of weeks ago, and for Christmas, I'll send you the YouTube clip of it. But I
Hmm.
find that, you know, like when at the beginning, this, I might now, that might come out kind of like this. You know, there might be something that
Nice.
where the melody is just a carrier for a certain energy.
That's it. You've nailed it right there. That's
Yeah,
it.
it's just carrying an energy.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah. Right.
it's like it's one thing to learn the note. It's another thing to work in service of developing your own musical style.
Yes.
But this is really learning how to become an instrument
Yeah, now we're
of
talking.
the energies of universe,
That's right.
so that then those energies can be it's basically learning how to be a living portal
That's right.
for the
Uh,
transmission of love, light,
That's
joy, evolution.
That's it exactly. You're being a channel, and this is the whole thing of trance work in general. As a trance medium, you're being a trance to allow spirit to speak through you. Now, this is as a musician, you're allowing spirit to play the music, and it is a different discipline and a different training and a very surrendered place that one needs to be in order to really touch it. And what I love is it keeps going deeper and deeper. It's like the gift that keeps giving. It's not like you do it once and you master it. It's like you keep going deeper and deeper, learning more, surrendering more, opening up more.
Sure. Tell me more about your year of what you said your guides guided you to do in terms of
Oh,
doing this.
so I had been for quite a long time working on just trying to be a better jazz piano player, learning tunes, memorizing, play in 12 keys, the different
I
things
get
that
it.
we
Yeah.
learn. And I had been working on that. And when I started studying trance mediumship, which involves, as I mentioned, the complete, I mean, not complete, let's be real, but you, as much as you can, you're leaving the conscious mind sort of on a shelf somewhere while
Yes.
you allow yourself to be open to the words or actions or even facial expressions or whatever may be coming through from the spirit world. So I wanted to put that energy into my piano playing. So my guides basically told me, all right, sit down and play with your eyes closed, which was a big thing for me. I knew that it would be good for me, and people have said it before. It's not the first time I had heard it,
Uh-huh.
but I was always, I think, because my ego was so invested in playing right notes and everything. So first they had me play tunes like the tunes I already knew, Stella by Starlight or something, and close your eyes and be oblivious to the inevitable mistakes, which were many, and to just get used to the feeling that you're feeling and that the music is coming through you, even no matter what it sounds like.
Yes.
And then the next stage was, as I mentioned, to drop playing the Stella by Starlight kind of things altogether. And this was during the pandemic, so it was a really, probably otherwise I would have never done it. I had no gigs, I wasn't playing with anyone, so there was no, requirement that I do. So it was just don't play regular music at all, and for every day for half an hour sit down and just play whatever comes through. And there was a whole protocol of going into the trance state, which I used because I was also studying trance mediumship. So there's a whole way that it's kind of very meditative, but you basically allow your mind to shut down, and
Yes.
you shut it down and you sit and you breathe, and you would sit until you could really feel yourself in another dimension, and then, only then, put the hands on the keyboard, and then wait, right? And sometimes you waited for quite a while, but eventually, you kind of habituate this new way. And that was kind of the discipline that I was in for about a year. I did that, and I still do it when I'm practicing, but now I'm also able, because I've been doing the piano trance healing like on Facebook and these other things. You can't be in a complete deep trance and operate the computer and write the little comments and deal
Right.
with so I had to learn how to be in a, I guess what you'd call an altered state of mind or a lighter trance, to play the music and then be able to come out of it, interact with the people, etc. So that's what I've been doing.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. And
So
I
you've been
mix
doing
that.
this for people for quite a while now, right?
Yes, I've been doing this. I started it, I would say, 2 years ago. Really seriously doing it, like, all right, I'm going to practice it
Yeah.
every day. Because, as you well know, when you commit to saying, I'm going to take this seriously enough that I'm going to practice it every day, that gives you a different thing other than I'm just gonna see if some magic happens when I'm
Right.
in the mood. And then the other piece that I added in was the tarot cards. I was already being a psychic and doing mediumship and psychic work using cards. And so now it was just a question to fuse those two things together, which are two skills. And interestingly, the psychic reading is much more closer to a conversational kind of thing. And then I need to go a little deeper to then bring the music that will come. I certainly hope that you enjoyed our conversation. It was deep, it went deep, it was meaningful, at least to me, and I hope to you. Once again, if you're interested in connecting with Harry and all the things he does, he has breath work, sound work, he's a great music teacher, he's a fabulous performer, he's just totally multifaceted guy. You can find him on Facebook. Just go Harry Pickens Facebook and you will find him. So, just to wrap up, this is Carolyn's Psychic Playroom for the winter of 2022. I'm going to remind you that our card for this quarter is the ancestors, connecting with the ancestors. So, remembering to do some work around that. And I will see you in the spring. In the meantime, have a wonderful, fabulous, and blessed 3 months. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.